طيب. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد. طيب يا إخوان. Before we just start, do quick Q&A inshallah. So we spoke about dua. Dua, we mentioned, what is the definition of dua? Okay, what is the definition of dua?
The supplication, to invoke someone.
No, not invoke someone.
Supplicating to Allah, asking Allah for example, risk.
To ask Allah to things which will benefit you and to push away any harm that you might face. Anything like Ibn Qayyim says there. Okay. Dua, we said how many types? Dua al-ibadah. Dua al-mas'ala. Does Dua al-ibadah, which one is that?
It's one where you're worshipping Allah.
Dua, worship. What does it include? Asking about Allah what? Asking Allah for?
Could it include knowledge?
Not asking Allah for thawab, isn't it? Talab al-thawab. You're seeking reward from Allah Azza wa Jal. That's only for Allah. Dua al-ibadah only for Allah Azza wa Jal. You only ask Allah for the reward. And Dua al-mas'ala, Abdul Kareem?
You can ask Allah and you can ask other than Allah.
Okay. So Dua al-mas'ala, asking Allah for your need. Okay. How many are there, Abdul Kareem?
There's 3 types.
Give me one, inshallah.
One of them is the one that is you're only allowed to ask Allah. If you ask someone else, it's shirk.
It's shirk. Only Allah can benefit you. Okay. And the second type, were you here last week? No?
I didn't have the notes.
Okay. Go. Second type of dua.
Second time is where you ask the dead, which is not allowed.
Which isn't allowed. Okay. The third one.
You ask someone to say alive, they have to be high-hearted.
Okay. Someone alive, qadir, is able to help you. He's hadir, in front of you. Like ya fulan isqini, ya also and so, ya fulan, or it's a call, pour water for me, something like that. So it is allowed. Tayyib. We spoke about tawassul. Tawassul to Allah. How many ways can we do?
Is it 3 or 4 types? Is it 3?
Give me one, inshallah.
Through a righteous person.
Through righteous person.
Yeah.
Ask. Give me example. Anyone done that? Tells Rasulullah.
After Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked Umar radiallahu anhu to make dua for him when he went to Umrah, right?
Okay, that's one. Okay. Any more? Any other example you can give me?
I think another example is the Sahaba, they asked Muawiyah.
Muawiyah was asked to make dua, istisqa. One more. Umar asked Abbas. So dua of the righteous. Tawassul. Just asking Allah. Okay, you get righteous men to ask Allah for tawassul, yeah, dua. Second type of tawassul. Through Allah's names. Give me an example.
Be like, Ya Rahim, have mercy.
Oh yeah, Ya Ar-Rahman, Ya Ar-Rahim, yeah, something like that, yeah. And the last one is, brother here, last one, tawassul to Allah. This brother here. The last one, yes.
Did we speak about the forbidden one?
No. I'm talking about which one you allowed. So tawassul through the righteous, some of the Sahaba did, and the Sahaba Anas came and they asked Rasulullah, anyone on mimbar for the rain, things like that. Tawassul by the names and attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal. The last one is?
Was it the wassul between Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
No, not that one, no. Go on.
It's about wasila.
Huh?
It's about wasila.
Yeah, which the third one is what?
Through righteous deeds.
Through righteous deed. Okay. فَآمَنَّا رَبَّنَا فَاغْفِرْ لَنَا. So we believed in you, my Lord. So Allah forgive us. So what's the shahid? our Imam, we believed in you, so forgive us. So we can use all these. These are lawful one. The one brother saying, the brother saying tawassul, two types, which is we have to believe. Okay, which one is the one we have to believe?
No, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the, do you call it intermediary?
The middle person.
Middle person between
and Allah. Okay, that we have to believe that. Someone denies that is out of fold of Islam. The one we can't believe, shirk. Go to the dead, tawassul making tawassul with the dead, asking Allah through the dead until this is shirk. This is the brother reminding us, tawassul two types that you mentioned there. One is allowed, one is not allowed. One we have to believe. Rasulullah is middle person between us and Allah. Tayyib ya ikhwan, that's good, let's start. Let's move on. Today inshallah we'll discuss, I'm going to mention some of the hadith which are da'if on dua. طيب okay, أحاديث ضعيفة وموضوعة في الدعاء, hadith which are weak and fabricated in regarding dua. Okay, the one hadith here which says that hadith says إذا أعيتكم الأمور فعليكم بأهل القبور فاستعينوا بأهل القبور. إذا أعيتكم, if anything makes you fatigue, or anything makes you weak, or depression, worry, whatever, weak physically, then upon you to go to the pool of the grave, so seek aid from the pool of the grave. This is the hadith they say. Okay, now this hadith, some Quburi might use it. Look, I'm going to Prophet now. But this hadith, Shaykhul-Islam says that it is mawdu', it's fabricated hadith. Okay? Shaykh Albani says, La aslah. There's no asl, there's no basis in this hadith. Okay? So, people use this hadith and they implement, they go to the righteous, they go to the dead. We can go to Rasulullah and ask him, make dua to him. We can ask Allah through him. So these hadiths are fabricated. There's no basis in this hadith. Prophet feared and he made dua to Allah that not to make his grave as a place of worship. So this hadith, how can it be sahih? Tayyib. Shaykhul-Islam mentioned in his book At-Tawassul wal-Wasila is there, this hadith. And he says it's not authentic. It's fabricated hadith. The next one is حديث الثاني إذا سألتم الله فاسأل بجاهي عند الله عظيم أو توسلوا بجاهي فإن جاهي عند الله عظيم. So here this is a hadith that if you ask Allah Azza wa Jal, ask by my status. Okay? Because my status with Allah is great. If you make tawassul, okay, make tawassul with my status, because my status with Allah is great. So Prophet is here telling us to make dua or tawassul with his jah. Jah is a status. A lot of Muslims, they do that. Because of his status, because of the state of Muhammad, I'm asking Allah, I heard people saying it, forgive me. And this is batil. Shaykhul-Islam said this hadith is fabricated. Shaykh Albani said, La aslahu. There is no basis in this hadith. When we make dua to Allah directly. We don't ask Allah to forgive me because of the status of Muhammad. Oh Allah, I'm asking you by the status of Muhammad. Okay, please forgive me. Yadu billah. No, we don't do that. You'll never find these things in the hadith, authentic hadith. But asking Allah through a good action is in the Quran. But as for this, la, it's mawdu'. It's mawdu'. When something is mawdu', there is no basis. It's a lie, basically. It's a lie. طيب إخوان. So there are the hadith, but I want to mention these two specifically because these two hadiths can be used to practice the shirkiyat. A lot of people, they believe that if you go to Hajj or Umrah, you have to visit Prophet's grave. If you don't, then Umrah or Hajj is not valid. And they use statement like, Man hajja bayt Allah wa lam yazurni faqad khana, khanani or something like that. That whoever make Hajj Umrah or visit Hajj, make Hajj in the house of Allah, doesn't visit me, then he has deceived me. Ibn Taymiyyah says mawdu', this hadith never exists. There's no basis in that hadith. And there are many riwayat version of this hadith. But his whole book on this, small leaflet, and Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah, all mawdu'. It's not visiting grave of the Prophet and Umrah and Hajj go no link. You don't have to go Medina. There's nothing to do with Hajj. Going to Medina, nothing to do with Hajj and Umrah. People use these things to this. A'udhu billah. Tayyib, my brothers, we're continuing now. We're going to speak about dua a bit more, inshallah, then we go. Tayyib. So, Shaykhul-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah mentions 14 types of ibadat, okay? And you can read it yourself. And these 14 types of ibadat that he mentioned is not 14, more than that. But he mentioned these 14. Maybe these are widespread in his time. Shirkiyat were happening in these ibadat, in these worships. So, Shaykhul-Islam Muhammad ibn Abdul-Wahhab, after mentioning all these types of worship, okay, then he brings evidence. Okay? Then he brings evidence. He said that وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. So that's his evidence to worship Allah alone, to turn all this worship for Allah Azza wa Jal. That indeed masajid is for Allah. What is masajid? Masajid are two types. First is aam, second is khas. Aam is the whole earth is masajid for the believers. Or Ummah Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet said that Allah has made the earth for me as masjid. So masajid is plural of masjid. Now masjid, as some of the mufassirun said, Sa'id bin Musayyib, Sa'id bin Jubair, that masjid is a place you bow down to Allah. 7 limbs where you make sajda to Allah. That's masjid. So if you go to the park and pray, the park is masjid. Okay, if we don't pray, places were forbidden, like a bathroom, toilet, and graveyard, no. But normally on the park, you pray, that's the masjid. Okay, so wherever you pray, do not worship beside Allah. You call on Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, that's one type of masjid. Some of the mufassirun say. So other type of masjid is the masjid where like this one is built specifically to worship Allah. So in this masjid here, we don't make shirk with Allah. We do not invoke other than Allah. We don't commit shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal. Every worship should be done for Allah Azza wa Jal. وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ. Then he said, فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. That's the evidence. That's the whole ayah actually. فَلَا تَدْعُوا. Do not invoke beside Allah Azza wa Jal. So here dua, this dua include dua al-ibadah, dua al-mas'ala. Dua of worship, dua of need. So anywhere you worship, do not ask except Allah for the reward of Allah, and do not ask Allah anyone other than Allah for your needs. Okay? Every dua you make, it should be for Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. This ahada, indefinite. I gave you the qa'idah. If you remember this qa'idah, it's very important. Okay? Someone might say, Ya akhi, I'm not worshipping idols. I'm calling Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best of the mankind. If you don't, then you're belittling him. I said, Allah said, فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. This ahad is indefinite. Comes after prohibition. Means general, everyone you don't ask other than Allah. Prophets, angels, anyone. So the ahad negates everything. It's only for Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? So Shaykhul-Islam used this ayah as a proof. So we learn from this that when we say something, we bring evidence. So Ahlul Sunnah, Ahlul Hadith, when they say something about deen, I'm not saying from my head, that's the evidence. Like, Sallu kamara yusalli. Pray the same we pray. So when we pray because Prophet taught us. When we make Hajj, we do according to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Khudhu anni manasikakum. Take from me the rites of Hajj. So everything that we do have to be from Quran and Sunnah. So Shaykhul-Islam brings evidence after he mentioned all this. This is the evidence. Okay? Evidence that he says you should not direct any worship other than Allah. So Shaykhul-Islam says now, after mentioning the ayah in the Quran, فَمَنْ صَرَفَ مِنْهَا شَيْئًا لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ فَهُوَ مُشْرِكٌ كَافِرٌ. That whoever direct any of this worship other than Allah, he says he's mushrik, kafir. Now let's talk about what does mushrik and kafir mean. Okay? Now the word kafir, the word kafara, mean to satara, to cover. Okay? Allah says in the Quran, كَمَثَلِ غَيْثٍ أَعْجَبَ الْكُفَّارَ نَبَاتُهُ. Allah said that You know the farmers, when they farm, when the ghayth is heavy rain. When the heavy rain comes, what happens to the crops? It grows in it. Allah saying, Ajab al-kuffar. This kuffar here means the farmers. You must say the disbelievers. No, the farmers are Muslim, but they're kuffar. Do you know why? Because they cover the crops. So ulama use this ayah to say the word kafar linguistically means to cover. So night covers the day. Night is the kafir. The sea covers the whatever underneath the ocean. Sea becomes the kafir. Okay? It covers. Okay? So kafara means to satara, to cover. Or kafar also means to jahada, to deny. Okay? So the word kafir, okay, means the one who denies or covers. Okay? So scholars have said, some of the opinions says, first opinion, they say that kafir and mushrik has no difference. It's the same thing. Imam Nawawi says that the word kafir and mushrik, two words, mean one thing. Okay? But sometimes mushrik can be more specific, those who worship idols only. Okay? And kafir, those who deny. So for example, Imam Nawawi says that mushrik is more specific than a kafir. Okay? So every mushrik is a kafir, every kafir is not a mushrik. So give me an example. So someone denies the obligation of salah. Someone says, salah is not wajib on me. Or siyam is not wajib on me. Obeying my parents is not wajib on me. Okay? Zakat is not wajib on me when I'm able to give zakat. So he is kafir if he does it with knowledge. Why? Because he's covering the haqq. But he's not mushrik because he never worshipped anyone. Okay? But sometimes Allah Azza wa Jal, He declared kafir, mushrik kafir. For example, Allah says in the Quran, وَمَنْ يَدْعُ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ لَا بُرْهَانَ لَهُ بِهِ فَإِنَّمَا حِسَابُهُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ فَإِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Shuf. Allah said, whoever invoke other than Allah, that's worship, isn't it? He has no evidence for that. Allah will judge him on the day of judgment. Okay? And kafir who have no success. So Allah didn't say mushrik, He said kafir, even though he is worshipping other than Allah. So ulama said, the Shaykh bin Baz as well, rahimahullah, that sometimes Allah is kafir for a mushrik. Mushrik as a kafir. These two words come in same thing. This is same. The hadith Rasul said that al-farq bayn al-kafir, al-farq bayn al-rajul wal-kafir wa shirk tarku salah. That the difference between man, shirk and kufur, living of the salah. So they use this ayah to say someone doesn't pray is not Muslim. Okay? So these are ikhtilaf between the ulama. And one group says that kafir is the one who denies, mushrik is the one who worships other than Allah. Okay? But in the Quran and Sunnah you find that Allah used kafir for mushrik as well. So, but the hukum is same anyway. At the end of the day, the hukum with Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah is same. Yeah. طيب يا إخوان. So Shaykhul-Islam says, anyone worship other than Allah is mushrik and kafir. Maybe the Shaykhul-Islam sees the two words mean same thing. You're mushrik and you're a kafir. Because Yahud wa Nasara, they're mushrik and kafir. Okay, Allah described them, they're mushrik and a kafir. So that's the difference between mushrik and a kafir. Now I want to go through this ayah as well. Okay, Allah said, وَالدَّلِيلُ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى وَمَنْ يَدْعُ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ لَا بُرْهَانَ لَهُ بِهِ فَإِنَّمَا حِسَابُهُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. That whoever invokes other than Allah, he has no evidence. فَإِنَّمَا حِسَابُهُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ. Indeed his hisab is with his Lord, and indeed kafir has no success. Okay, it's not the verse actually. But anyway, so here we learn that those people who says that those who invoke other than Allah goes to the grave, ask righteous, ask the saint, but he doesn't believe these are his gods, is okay. It's sinful. It is major sin, but it's not shirk. It is shirk. The fact you went to the grave and invoking all these righteous people, prophets, angels, or the idols, whatever you're invoking, it is shirk, even though you don't believe they are your God. Because Allah did not differentiate like that. He said, فَإِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. The kafir will not be successful. But Allah declared them at the end of the verse, they're kuffar. Okay? They're kuffar. And the mushrik as well at the same time. Yadu billah. طيب. So what are these verses for? To establish that any of this ibadah you turn other than Allah, you're mushrik kafir. These are the two verses. وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدِ اللَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. That's one of the verse. And the other verse, وَمَنْ يَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ, to the end of it. Okay? These two verse is the evidence that we have to turn all the ibadah for Allah. Okay? That's the Shaykhul-Islam two evidence. There are many other evidences, but he used these two evidences from the Quran. But you understand how the evidence, yeah? Proof, inshallah. If you don't know, ask me at the end of the class. طيب إخوان. طيب. وفي الحديث. Now he's going to bring a hadith now. Okay? So we're going to talk about a dua. Okay, we covered dua last week, the virtues of dua and all that. Now we're going to mention this hadith, الدعاء مخ العبادة. Dua مخ العبادة. Now dua is mukh means the core of ibadah. But this hadith, a lot of scholars made it weak. Okay, they made this hadith weak because on the sanad, on the narration, on the chain of the hadith, there's one of the narrator called Ibn Lahi'a. Ibn Lahi'a, he's in the chain. Now the story about Ibn Lahi'a is that there's two situations of his life. Once he lost his book. Any narration that he narrated after he lost his book, then we should accept it. His memory was weak. Okay? Any narration that he narrated before he had the books, then we can accept it. If you ask me how do we differentiate that, we don't know. The scholar knows that. But that's the two stages of his life. There was the time he lost his books. So anything narrated after he lost his book, they said no, we don't accept from him. So he's in the chain. Ibn Lahi'a is on the chain, so this is hadith is weak. Okay? طيب. But there's another hadith. الدعاء هو العبادة. Nu'man bin Bashir. This is hadith Anas bin Malik. But the other one, Nu'man bin Bashir. The الدعاء هو العبادة. Okay? Now this is very important class. I want you to remember this. Now dua huwa al-ibadah. The word huwa mean it is the pronoun. The ulama says that because it's a separate pronoun, dua huwa al-ibadah is tawqid, emphasizing it. So they say that ibadah is dua. Okay? So if the ibadah is only dua, or dua is only ibadah, then you cannot turn this ibadah other than Allah. Okay? It's emphasizing, this pronoun here, huwa, is emphasizing that dua is ibadah. Grammatical rule I'm bringing it to establish the proof. Okay? So, if it's ibadah, you can't turn other than Allah. Based on this ayah we have quoted, إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Indeed, the kafir will never be successful. Okay? That's Nu'man bin Bashir radiallahu anhu. Now, والدليل قوله تعالى. Now he's going to bring the ayah of the Quran, Shaykhul-Islam. وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم إن الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون جهنم داخرين. Okay? Allah said that, and your Lord said, invoke on me and I will respond to your dua. Let's break it down. Your Lord said, call on me and I will respond to your dua. The word ud'uni is a command from Allah. Okay? If you can understand this verse, you can refute those who say they can go to the grave and invoke them without believing their God. You can refute them with this ayah. Okay? And the other ones. When there's a command of Allah Azza wa Jal, it means wajib. Number one. Secondly, it means it's ibadah. Because why? Allah will never command you to do something if it's not a worship. So, what it means is that if the dua is a worship and it's a command, then you cannot direct this dua other than Allah. This worship has to be directed to Allah Azza wa Jal. So that means now, going to the grave, going to the righteous, going to the Prophet, asking them is haram because Allah telling me to call on him, not the Prophet. I have turned this ibadah other than Allah. Whether I believe Prophet is a God or not a God, Abdul Qadir Jilani is a God or not, I have committed shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal. The fact I have went against his command Allah said, Ud'uni. He didn't say, Ud'u Muhammad, Ud'u Abdul Qadir, Ud'u Salihah. He didn't say that. He said, call on me. Why is he telling you to call on him? Because he should worship. Worship me. Call on me, worship me. Not worship Abdul Qadir, Muhammad, Malaika, Shah Jalal. La. We ask Allah. Okay? That's number one. وقال ربكم ادعوني استجب لكم. Istijab here, I will respond to you. This is dua al-mas'ala, dua al-ibadah. Anything that you ask Allah, whether for your need or for your reward in your worship, ask Allah. And Allah will respond to your dua. Okay? Then Allah said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي. Indeed, those who are arrogant to worship me, سَيَدْخُلُونَ جَهَنَّمَ دَاخِرِينَ. And they will enter Jahannam, داخرين, داخرين ذليلين, mean humiliated. Okay? Let's go back. Indeed, those who are arrogant. What was the kufr of Iblis? Kufr istikbar. Kufr of Iblis, his kufr is istikbar, arrogant. وَاسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. He became arrogant. He became among the disbelievers. Allah declared this, not us, Allah. Allah said he's kafir. But Allah knows he was to worship me. He lived in Jannah. He was hanging around with Jibreel, Mikael. He believed in Jannah wa Nar. He believed everything. He has 6 pillars of Iman. But he's still a kafir. Because he was arrogant. Istikbar takes out the fold of Islam. So here, the ulama says that the one who turns away from worship of Allah is mustakbir. He's arrogant. Only thing that's causing him not to worship Allah because of his pride. He's arrogant, like Iblis was. Okay? Then Allah said, يَسْتَكْبِرُ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي, my worship. So Allah declared, عِبَادَتي, Allah declared this dua as worship. This dua I'm asking you to make on me is my worship. So if this is Allah calling to be a worship, then who do you turn to? Allah. Okay? So this is how the ulama have explained. This ayah clearly states that going to the grave, going to the righteous, going to any saints, invoking them, it's nothing but a shirk. Whether you believe this is God or not a God, it is shirk. Okay? Because Allah, ibadah, you're giving it to a creation. You're giving the haqq to the creation. طيب يا إخوان? So this is another ayah we can refute those people who says, no, you can go to the righteous as long as you don't believe they're God. It's haram, but it's not shirk. A'udhu billah. This is how you explain to them. Okay? This is how you explain to them. Inshallah, try to remember them. So we covered dua quite a lot. Look, I have a whole book on dua. Whole book on dua. Just on dua. More. So I can't give you the whole book. If you're Arabic, read them inshallah. طيب. Shaykh bin Baz approved it. طيب, the next one, so Shaykhul-Islam, he mentioned dua and he gave all the evidences, we explained it. The next type of ibadah, al-khawf. Al-khawf. طيب. Salam. What is the difference between al-khawf wal khashiyah? Okay. Khaif and the one who has khawf and one who has khashiyah. The one who has khashiyah is higher than the one who has khawf. Those both mean fear. But the khawf, you can fear somebody you don't even know. You don't even love him. You just fear a snake, could be a group of people chasing you. You just fear them. Natural fear, just fear them. Khashiyah, fear, but with knowledge, with love. Okay? So khashiyah based on knowledge of Allah. That's what Allah says in the Quran. وَمَنْ يَخْشَ إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءُ. Okay? That indeed those who fear Allah most are the ulama. If I say إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء, mean the one who fears ulama most is Allah. So grammar is very important. So the one who fears Allah most is the scholars. Allah didn't say إِنَّمَا يَخَافَ اللَّهِ إِنَّمَا يَخَافُ اللَّهَ. Allah says إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ, because the word khashiyah comes with knowledge of Allah. And this khashiyah, ulama has most. They are the most fearful to Allah Azza wa Jal. They are the one who fears Allah most. The ulama. So the khashiyah, this is one of the ayah we can use to say khashiyah is different than the khawf. Okay? So khashiyah comes from knowledge of Allah and it has dhul. I mean, you fear Allah at the same time you have love for Him and you're humble in front of Allah. Humility you have Him in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? So that's the difference between al-khawf wal-khashiyah. Allah said in the Quran, فَلَا تَخَافُوهُمْ وَخَافُونِي إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Do not fear them, but fear me if you're true believers. Now, khawf, a different level of khawf. Not everyone fears other than Allah is become a kafir. La iyadu billah. Khawf are different levels. Now, the first type of khawf, khawful ibadah. Okay? Khawf, which is the worship. Okay? Now, and that is a person who fears Allah and that causes him to worship Allah. So we can say khawf praiseworthy and not praiseworthy. Khawf which is praiseworthy, if the khawf, fear makes you worship Allah and leave haram, then this is praiseworthy khawf. Okay? But if someone says I fear Allah, but he says, but he doesn't worship Allah, he just claim. Like even Iblis says, Inni akhafullah Rabbal Alameen. Iblis said, I fear Allah, the Lord of the world, but he doesn't fear Allah Azza wa Jal. So khawf, if they cause you to worship Allah and leave what is haram, forbidden stuff, then this khawf has the benefit in you, that you're worshipping Allah. But if the khawf doesn't cause you to worship Allah, leave haram, then this khawf has no benefit. Okay? If someone doesn't pray 5 times a day, surely he doesn't fear Allah. He has no fear of Allah Azza wa Jal. Subhanallah. So the first type of khawf, khawful ibadah. Khawful ibadah. Second type of khawf, khawful shirk. Khawf can be fall into shirk as well. If someone fears somebody, a human being, more than Allah, or someone fears a person in the grave, or jinn, sometimes some stories, jinn come out of the grave and things like that. Dead people can come out from the grave. These things, if you start fearing more than Allah, they can harm you, benefit you more. This fear, this is major shirk. You can't fear anything, jinn or human or dead person. You can't fear them. Because a lot of people have been brainwashed. Don't go past the graveyard. Something might catch you, or they have this illusion in their minds. Subhanallah. So this is major shirk. If you have fear, like if someone has it, But the third type of khawf is the khawf which is ma'asiyah, a khawf which is fall under sin. That is, if someone were to leave act of obligatory, fearing his parents or human being, that this is khawf al-ma'asiyah. Ma'asiyah, The third one, the last one, which is khawf al-taba'iyah, the natural fear. The natural fear, everyone has natural fear. Okay? And that is, everyone has fearing from, snake or human, group of people, you fearing, you in the house in fire, you fearing that. And there's nothing wrong with having that fear. Okay, this natural fear, everyone is embodied with that. And this fear is natural fear, which is allowed. And I can give you some of the examples. Abu Musa alayhi salam, فأصبح في المدينة خائفا, that the Medina where he was, he was feared. Imam Musa alayhi salam feared, and he feared the soldiers of Fir'aun, so that they might disbelieve in him. So Musa had natural fear. So having a natural fear, the Sharia does not reprimand that. And all Prophet had enemies as well. So these are categories of fears, my brothers. So we finish here today, inshallah. Next we will continue the next one. Hayakumullah. So if there's any questions, anything you want me to cover, Maghrib is coming, then we'll do that. Next week, let's start 7:15. Is that okay? Yeah? 7:15. Okay, inshallah. So any question, my brothers, I'll take it.
One time I heard if you walk under a tree, then you should do isti'adha because of jinnat. Is this true? Is there any basis on this?
Walk under a tree.
Yeah, if you walk under a tree, you should isti'adha.
I never heard that. No. Prophet said he requested for that if we go to the toilet we make isti'adha when we go under a tree, because could be because jinn are under a tree, they're under bushes, and the Prophet ﷺ advised us not to urinate in a hole, and things like that, and do not urinate on the path, things like that. So I won't be surprised. It might be a hadith, but that's where jinns are anyway. So be careful. So I read on that, but there hadith where Prophet forbade that you shouldn't urinate in a hole, but jinn can be there. Don't urinate any bushes. You must urinate on the jinn, and that can harm you. Yeah, there could be something there. Anyone?
How do you feel those people who make dua to Allah by using their status of righteous people?
We just gave the evidences. Prophet, the hadith, Prophets, they claim this hadith. If you make dua, make dua with my status, because my status with Allah is great. This hadith is mawdu'. Ibn Taymiyyah made it's mawdu', it's fabricated. Shaykh al-Albani, there's no basis. If you cannot make dua with the status of the Prophet ﷺ, let alone other than Prophet, and this such dua is not accepted anyway. Allah taught us how to make dua. You call on Allah Azza wa Jal.
How do you respond to the shubha that Ibn Taymiyyah was allegedly like a Sufi? Because I read that some men and women, after he died, they used to drink his ghusl water from janazah, and they used to kiss his body and stuff, all of this stuff.
No. No kisses. A'udhu billah. La. This qissa, you go get authenticity of it. You get a lot of fabrication about Ibn Taymiyyah, and Ibn Taymiyyah, they claim that Ibn Taymiyyah came down from the minbar and he said Allah come down like the Yadu billah. He never made it. A lot of lie about Shaykhul-Islam. So it can't just take this as it comes.
Can you just repeat the two hadith that were da'if?
Da'if. Who's got it? The hadith we say about his the status. Okay, that's the one. Another one is that if you feel any remorse, if you fall fatigue, then go to people of the qubur. Make isti'ana, seek aid from the people of the grave. This is fabrication as well. Yeah.
First one is there such a thing as a good bid'ah? And secondly,
Is there such thing as?
A good bid'ah. And secondly, is there such a thing where, for example, people give the example of the Prophet ﷺ never used to drive a car, so is that bid'ah?
Okay, bid'ah two types. Bid'ah in the deen and bid'ah in the dunya. The bid'ah in the deen is haram. Okay? Bid'ah in the dunya is allowed, no problem with that. And the bid'ah, ما أحسن بدعة هذه, Ibn Umar ibn Khattab said, is linguistic bid'ah, not the shar'an, is linguistically. Because what he has done, Umar ibn Khattab, no one done it. Not the it's lughatan, linguistic meaning, not shar'an. That's what it is. Okay, jazakumullah khair.
Hi, Islam, how are you?